In this video, I'm just going to be giving an updated look at what the best equipment is to use in the game. So previously, this came down to the Dominator weapon and armor, partnered with the Thunder God helmet and accessory. And this was just because the Dominator set, obviously, as I've talked about in other videos, it gives you tons of bonus attack just scaling off of your HP. It's a really just strong set of equipment. You're going to want to make sure you're using the 2-piece set bonus there. And then the armor is just a really key piece, just because at mythic quality, it does give you 30% bonus damage resistance, which is the most you can get in the game from a single piece of equipment. So it is just really giving you a lot of survivability there. It is kind of one of the must-have armor pieces in the game because of that. And then the Thunder God helmet and accessory, while they're not anymore, these kind of have fallen off from the meta setup. They're still good pieces of equipment. They can really help you when you get to like normal stage 12. But beyond that, I wouldn't invest too much in them just because you really don't need them that strong. You're probably going to end up just transitioning to like the Eternal set anyways, just because that's a bit stronger, as I'll get into in a minute, as far as helping you with survivability. But what makes the Thunder God set still really good is it does, for that set bonus, you have that chain lightning damage, that temporary paralysis effect it can apply to enemies. And then really like the helmet, it gives you bonus hit rate. It gives you like the bonus attack speed that a lot of the helmets do. And then you get plus 20% multi-attack chance, which, I mean, just on most slimes, what that does is it puts you close. It puts me right at 70% right here. If I'm using Chloris, it'll actually get me a bit higher. It gets me to 90% multi-attack chance. So that multi-attack chance is a really key stat. And then you can partner it with some like temporary multi-attack buffs or some multi-attack chance runes to get you to as close to 100% multi-attack chance as you can, just because that really does help your overall damage output. And then the accessory, really the only big one you're looking for here is that bonus hit rate, but that's really just what makes it so good for that normal stage 12, because normal stage 12 is when the game just starts really scaling as far as how much hit rate you need to consistently damage the enemies. So that's kind of still where it falls. If you're struggling with hit rate, the Thunder God set can be a good one to use there, but there's also other ways around hit rate. If you can either use like temporary buffs from the fountain that give bonus hit rate, or you can use hit rate runes to kind of offset that. So there are some ways around that hit rate issue. So that is kind of why it does fall down a bit as far as the meta setup guide. Now, really what the current top setup in the game is it actually still a version of the Dominator set. It doesn't necessarily have to be the weapon. You can swap out the armor. I'm actually leaving off currently released. There is the Revenge set as well. But really just as far as where the Revenge set falls right now, it has a few niche uses. But in general, this Dominator Eternal is just a bit better as far as the survivability aspect goes. So really in general, this is the setup. One of these two variations of the setup is what you're going to be wanting to use right now. So you can still use the Dominator weapon, especially if you've already previously had it upgraded. It's a good one to use. You really do still, the title skill armor is a must use, just because it gives you that 30% bonus damage resistance. It also does give you 30% dodge chance, which when we're looking at these Eternal set pieces of equipment, that kind of is a theme along just with a lot of these pieces of equipment. A lot of them give dodge. I believe it's 3 out of the 4 give bonus dodge. The Cloak of Time, the Eternal armor, gives you plus 20% dodge. It does give you 25% damage resistance, but again, you do want the most you can get, so that 30% you're getting here is a bit better. And you actually all are getting 30% dodge as well, so you're getting a little more dodge and damage resistance at the trade-off of some lifesteal. You're getting some stats resistance, but really the Dominator armor is kind of the must-use piece here. And then you can use the Dominator weapon if you want, or if you don't want to use the Dominator weapon, what you can use is the Eternal weapon. and then swap that out. So if you use the Eternal weapon, you're going to want to be swapping it out and making sure you're using the Dominator crown. So you are still getting that 2-piece Dominator set bonus. That's going to be really critical just for maintaining this 2-piece Dominator set bonus and getting all that bonus attack. You also are just going to want to make sure you're still getting the 2-piece Eternal set bonus. I've talked about this in a separate video, but the Eternal set's really nice just because you can block some damage, take a portion of it instantly like you regularly would, and then you're actually taking another portion of that damage and you're getting it dealt to you over time, which is just going to kind of help with your survivability a bit because it gives you time to lifesteal or regenerate through some damage rather than just getting instantly one shot in a lot of cases, which is really good. Like the Eternal set, really good for League in that sense, just because there are the higher stages you get to, the amount of damage certain enemies can deal is just a lot. Now, as far as why you'll so when you're looking at the Scepter of Eternity versus the Dominator weapon, really a lot of the trade-off, like you're getting range damage either way. With the Scepter of Eternity, you are getting dodge chance versus the splash damage kind of you're getting here. You also are trading off the critical chance here for the critical damage that the Scepter of Dominator has. But when we look at the crown for the Dominator set, you're getting that critical chance back. You're getting more critical damage from the helmet. But what we are missing out on when we have the Eternal crown is the Eternal crown. It does have multi-attack chance. So really, if I were to pick my favorite setup, this would probably be it right here. Just you are missing out on a little critical chance. So if you are fighting it on a stage that enemies have a lot of critical resistance, you need a lot of critical chance to actually deal critical hits. I believe it is just slightly better from that aspect. I mean, we're talking about like 5% bonus critical chance. So it's not a huge issue. Really, the main reason I like this setup is because of the Crown of Eternity and its set bonuses it gives, or the quality skills it gives. So for rare, you're getting 200% shield HP, which shield HP late game is really strong, especially if you're using Nepris, because if you're using Nepris, you're using the Epic Water Artifact that can scale even further off of that shield HP. You're just going to get super tanky, lots of survivability. You can also pair this really well with Haku, the new slime. Shield HP is just a really cool thing. It can just help you get really tanky, really survive a lot of that damage. That's kind of the theme of the Eternal set. You're also getting 30% 30% attack speed, 20% multi-attack chance, which is nice. Kind of like that Thunder God helmet. We were seeing the multi-attack chance. If you can get as close to 100% multi-attack chance, that's going to be really good. Again, by using this Crown of Eternity rather than the weapon, you're missing out on some dodge chance. You're missing out on that. But I think it's more than mitigated just by all the bonus survivability you're getting as far as the shield HP goes. But if you are going to try and do a full dodge build, I probably would just recommend going for the Eternal weapon and then using the Eternal weapon, then using the Dominator crown with the armor. Now, kind of the must-have piece, just like you really do need the Title Skull armor for the armor piece for the Dominator set, you really do need the Eternal accessory for the accessory piece. This is just because you're getting 20% bonus dodge chance for the rare quality skills. You can work it in as far as a full dodge build. That is an option. But the big pieces are the legendary and mythic skills. The legendary skill plus 25% bonus shield damage resistance. So currently, if you have it unlocked on your Tower of Elements, you go over to your talents page, you're going to see you can have up to 40% shield damage resistance. If you get this up to legendary quality, you can get an additional 25%. So you can get up to like 65% bonus shield damage resistance. And just because of how it works, it really kind of just works in tandem with your shield damage resistance, your extra damage resistance, your regular damage resistance. it really just helps as far as getting super tanky. And what it's going to do, along with this at Mythic quality, you're going to get 300% bonus shield HP, which is a just really high amount of bonus shield HP. So you're going to get, once again, just more shield HP. It's going to work well with, Haku, Nepris, as well as just all other slimes in general, because especially slimes, when certain slimes are kind of weak on HP, you can compensate for this to a degree with the shield HP. But what this is going to do is it's going to work really well with your shield HP because of that bonus shield damage resistance. It's going to help all of your shield HP last even longer. So that's probably it as far as the best current set in the game. Of course, the runes kind of just stay the same, but as far as equipment goes, the Dominator Eternal set really is just the most common one. You're going to see just high elo players using in League, as well as if you go to the leaderboard. This is just what a lot of players are going to be using, just because it's a really good setup overall. It's just really good as far as survivability. It's just really good as far as survivability, which is definitely one of the biggest challenges you're going to encounter later in the game. That's it for this video. Thanks for watching. Let me know if you have any questions.